Hello. Welcome back to JC's Learning Edge for another Friday deep dive. I'm so happy that you all are here. And if you all caught the midweek motivation on Wednesday, I know the video messed up a little bit, but if you really understood the gist of what I was saying, where we're headed today. On Wednesday, I told you something that was very simple but powerful about if it's not written down, it's not real. And today we're going to go even deeper, like I promised. And I'm breaking down what I call the blueprint method. The blueprint method. And it's not just about writing things down, but it's writing them in a way that forces your goals to become measurable, trackable, and achievable. Because let me tell you something that most people never realize. You don't rise to the level of your motivation, you rise to the level of your structure. And most people think they're just inconsistent or not disciplined, but the thing is they're not. They're just unstructured. So today is going to change that. Let's get right into it. My first point today is ideas are unlimited, but attention is not. I'm going to say that again. Ideas are unlimited, but attention is not. The truth that most people never hear is that your brain can generate an unlimited number of ideas. That's what the brain is meant to do, but it can only focus on a few. And this is why people start to feel overwhelmed, not because they have too many goals, but because, they haven't organized. When you write ideas down in a structured way, something powerful starts to happen. Your brain stops trying to juggle everything and starts prioritizing the right things. And this is why, bridge builders use blueprints. They're not drawing because it's cute. They're drawing because nothing gets built without a clear, visible plan. So for your life, or your education or your career, you need the same thing. You need a blueprint, not a dream, not a wish, but a blueprint. So the first step in this blueprint method is capture everything. Step one, capture everything. Every idea, every possibility, every one day dream, get it all out of your head and onto paper. And this is something that I've been encouraged to do myself. And I will say that when I do it, it definitely, you know, helps me because your brain is a factory, not a filing cabinet. But so once it's on paper, you can finally see what's noise and what's actually valuable. So write everything down, then prioritize it. And that leads me to my second point. Break the big goal into realistic, measurable moves. And this is where 99% of people start to fall off. They write down the big goal, but they skip the middle. They say, I want ABC. Okay, but how? Your brain cannot execute a goal that has no steps. It needs direction. So here's the second part of the blueprint method. Step two, turn the big goal into measurable moves. And I mean simple, clear, and realistic steps like read module one by Friday, write a paragraph today, or write a paragraph a day. If your plan is to write a book, write a paragraph a day or a couple sentences a day, or read 10 pages tonight, or apply to two jobs this weekend, or, finish one assignment before 3 p.m. Because every major achievement is just a stack of steps people were disciplined enough to write down and commit to. I'm going to say that again. Every major achievement is just a stack of steps people were disciplined enough to write down and commit to. So here's the eye opening part. Momentum isn't built from big goals. Y'all know we've talked about this before. It isn't built from big goals, but momentum is built from small wins that compound. Once your brain, starts to see progress, staying consistent becomes easy and not exhausting. So break your goal down until the next step is so clear you can't talk yourself out of it. You'll have to work hard not to reach your goals if you do this blueprint the right way. And that leads me to my third point. Put it on the calendar or it doesn't exist. And this is something, when I was in school, I was very great about. And now I've been encouraged to get back to it. Um, because this is truly where the transformation happens. Because writing things down is good, breaking your steps down is even better. But the real power, the part that changes your life, is the third step: schedule the action. Because if it's not on the calendar, it's still imaginary. Your goals should have dates. Your steps should have deadlines. Your habits, should have time blocks. You know, you schedule your job, you schedule your classes, you schedule your appointments, but your dreams, your goals, and your growth, most people leave that up to, whenever I get time or whenever I feel like it or I'll get to it. And that's just simply not good enough. And whenever whenever never comes or later turns into never, as I say. So here's the game changer. When you assign a time, the mind assigns importance. When you assign a time, the mind assigns importance. Like if you think about when you have a doctor's appointment and you put it on the calendar, your mind, it constantly reminds you like this is important. I can't miss this. But imagine if you never put any of your doctor's appointments on the calendar. You'll miss them, right? And I know for me, I can even take this into, just doing chores around the house. I sat down with my family and on my to-do list, like I vacuum. And I say I vacuum on Tuesdays and Fridays. And ever since I've done that, it hasn't been as difficult for me to get it done because I don't know, it just reminds me like this what you have to do. And then I'm more inclined to stick to it and be committed to that task. So I'm telling you, it works all around school, work, family life, career. You just have to take the first step. Because when you schedule a task, the brain treats it as a commitment and not a suggestion. And this is how you build discipline without forcing discipline. You let structure do the heavy lifting. So put it on your calendar and it becomes real. And listen. Everything I'm teaching right now is why I wrote my book, Graduating Half the Time. It's not to hype people up, but it's truly to give you a blueprint, give you a strategy, a real proven blueprint for finishing school faster, but also just reaching your goals. It'll help you stay consistent and eliminate the chaos in your schedule. So if you're serious about moving with purpose this year and preparing yourself for next year, because I know we have our New Year's resolutions and our goals for the new year, this would be a great way to start it. Spend the rest of this month and the rest of December learning the blueprint and the strategies. That way next year you'll reach every goal that you write now. So let me leave you with this. I'm closing. Let me leave you with this. Success isn't mysterious, but success is structured. I'm going to say that again. Success isn't mysterious. Success is structured. And people who win aren't always the most talented, but they're the most intentional. I'm going to say that again. People who win aren't always the most talented, but they're the most intentional. They write things down, they break things down, and they schedule what matters. Your dreams don't need more hype, they need a blueprint. So today, build one. Not next week, not once life calms down, not waiting for the perfect moment, because as I say, the perfect moment would never come, but today, because the version of you who has clarity, structure, momentum, and peace, they're not far away. They're one written plan away. And remember, success doesn't shout, it shows up. And it's time for your success to start showing up differently. And that being said, I'll see you next week. Bye bye.